That was real ugly last night. And listen, I know a portion of you are going to point to Scott Foster and the refereeing, and you'd be absolutely right. It was unbalanced, it was unfair, and it seemed foul. It did. No pun intended, right? I don't think it would have mattered, though. I don't think it would have mattered. I think it starts with Steph Curry and his lack of focus and really want to seemingly to play basketball last night. Now, I know amongst Dub Nation, it is truly taboo to say something negative against the chef because, well, it's his kingdom. He built it. I understand that. I understand that. But at the same time, that man is of flesh and blood, right? He is fallible at times, right? There is issues at times. And I think that Steph being this global brand and this legend, this living icon, I think sometimes his energies can get spread thin, right? And there are times when, he isn't always dialed in and focused. He's not one of these guys where every night he means business, right? That's just not a trait of his. And that's where he and Draymond can feed off each other so well, right? Where Draymond does bring that juice every night, it seems like. And when Steph maybe isn't going to be that, he doesn't have the energy he typically does, Draymond can lift the team. And you could sit here and say, hey, the root of this is Draymond hasn't made himself available, right? Draymond couldn't control himself, missing the 5 games. And so you can't put it all on Steph. I understand that. But the bottom is last night, Steph Curry didn't look like he wanted to play basketball. And I think it started with him. Without Draymond there on the road, it trickled down to the rest of the roster. Now, Scott Foster and the refs didn't help our cause, right? And the frustration, kind of came to a tipping point. And maybe Chris Paul in that second half could have found that juice for the rest of the team. But the bottom line is, to me, watching it back this morning, Steph didn't have it, and it was a trickle down effect. And even if the refereeing was better, I don't think they win that game. Size matters. And if they say it doesn't, they're lying to you. Morgan and Morgan is the biggest injury law firm in America with over 900 lawyers in all 50 states. Now, contacting a personal injury lawyer is the first step in an accident. And the best part about Morgan and Morgan is it's a modern law firm. You can do it all by your phone in 8 clicks or less. And I think the best part about it is if they don't win, you don't pay. But here's the thing. They've recovered over $15 billion for their clients. So if you are ever injured in an accident, you can submit a claim at forthepeople.com/athletic alchemy or by dialing pound law. That's pound 529 on your phone. And so here we sit, 16 games played. And I usually, this is a bit early for me. This is a bit early for me. But if you look at the standings right now, we're not even in the play-in, right? We're sitting here. It's not looking great. And so I thought I would throw out some trades for Black Friday. The holiday season, everybody's shopping, right? Maybe the Warriors are going to do some early shopping, right? So here we go. I'm going to start with, we'll go small to big, right? As far as like, whoa, and like possibility and all that. How about Jared Allen? The Cleveland Cavaliers have been relatively disappointing this year, and perhaps they're ready to move on from their Twin Towers project of both he and Evan Mobley, right? And Evan Mobley, his inevitable position is the center spot, the 5 spot, right? And so why delay the process? Let's move off Jared Allen. And the deal would be Andrew Wiggins for Jared Allen, and Dean Wade would be a salary filler, right? And you would say, if you're the Warriors, okay, Kuminga and Moody together are going to fill Wiggins' role. You start Kuminga, or Curry, he'll change the starting lineup all the time. But between those two at the 3 spot, we can get the same production that we got from Wiggins from those two, and we're giving Kuminga more opportunity here. And I'd probably start him, right? And then you finally have a true rim protector and vertical spacer for Chris Paul, Draymond, and Steph. A real lob threat, a check down. It's like, usually in the NFL, the tight end is the safety net for a quarterback. He's the guy they look to and check down. You see Patty Mahomes and these guys with these tight ends, Kittle, Kelsey. And that's what a lob threat is to me for the ball handlers on a basketball team. It's a check down. It's a safety net. The play's broken up. Hey, flip it up, and they can get something that's usually high efficient, right? And so you get Jared Allen, and it's just a position of need. And all of a sudden, we become much bigger, right? He's starting at the 5 spot, and you got Kuminga at the 3. All of a sudden, we're much bigger and more athletic. Now, Jared Allen, I wouldn't exactly call him Charmin soft, but he's definitely like bounty soft, right? He's not exactly a rough rider out there. And he's not a perfect player by any means, but neither has Wiggins been, right? And so it would make sense from Cleveland's standpoint of you're getting another wing 3-and-D defender, at least on paper, and you're kind of balancing your roster out to a more traditional style. And so maybe it's something that they would consider. I think that that's a realistic type of deal. Next up, a name that we've been connected to for probably 2 seasons now, Pascal Siakam. Toronto has a very strange roster, and while they do compete, they're going nowhere fast right now, right? Scotty Barnes, it does look well in his year 3 step. The midi game is coming along, but Siakam continues to play hard and well. And what you would do is, so you'd send Chris Paul, which is the expiring contract, and I'm assuming they'd want Jonathan Kuminga and probably some sort of draft capital. Majiri, pushes a tough bargain, right? But what you would get back in Siakam, who, excuse me, is in the final year of a contract, so you would have to consider that. But in that Wiggins spot, first off, he and Draymond would be interchangeable at the 3, 4, and hell, even at the 5, depending on how small you'd want to get, right? But you'd say, okay, Draymond's the 4, Siakam's the 3, whatever, it doesn't matter, because they can both kind of defend the same position. But Siakam plays, I don't know what he's listed at, but he certainly plays bigger than Andrew, right? So you get a little more size, like in application, but what you do get is a much more reliable and consistent scorer to help out Steph, right? Like Siakam, to me, one of his greatest attributes is his motor, and he is a guy that every night kind of brings it, right? Very rarely is you're like, hey, he's not playing hard, right? So you get a high motor guy that is going to be just a more consistent offensive weapon. The other aspect of acquiring Siakam, you're sending CP away, and Chris has been really good, man. Despite what happened last night, I don't even know what to say about that. That seems like those two shouldn't be on the court together, he and Scott Foster. But he's been really good for us. I think the other aspect, if you are to use him as that big contract in one of these trades, you're also saying to yourself, hey, Podziemski's ready for more opportunity. Right? Did you see him last night with KD? That interaction was fun, man. I think KD really respected the rookie for kind of getting up into him and just like talking and competing at the end of that game. And he's continued to look better. And so if you were moving CP to Toronto, you'd be saying, all right, Podziemski's ready to have that backup point guard role along with some help from Corey Joe, right? There will probably be some nights where the rookie gets in foul trouble, Kojo gets some of those minutes, but you'd say that we have the depth to cover that, and we can move CP for a bigger body, whether it's Siakam or someone else. I got one more crazy one. One more like, hey, we just got to go for it type of move. What if they just went and got Zion? What if they went and got Zion? Now, obviously, it would cost the kitchen sink. You're looking at Wiggins, Kuminga, and Moody probably, and maybe some draft picks, right? But you recently heard Zion say, hey, I'm trying to buy. And it's no secret. It's been the worst kept secret in the league for several years. He doesn't want to be there, right? And you imagine they're probably growing tired of how it's played out, right? And so you send the kitchen sink of our young cupboard of players along with Wiggins to match the salaries. And listen, I'm not sitting here and saying it makes a ton of sense on paper, but again, it's an all-in move. You say, okay, we probably have this year and next year for Steph's window, maybe a third year, right? I don't think that one's guaranteed, right? And you say, hey, we're going to go get a guy, one of maybe 5 guys in the league that has to be double teamed basically on every possession, right? And what that does to a defense and what it can do for your offense when you consider our shooting. Now, we also know the durability issues, the want to play defense. But again, it's a swing with this 2-year window. And you say, hey, we're going to go get one of the more dominant guys in the league. Steph, here you go. We're not going to waste these final years. This is the best we can do. Now, again, why would the Pelicans do it? Well, the writing's on the wall. I know Zion's not going to be there long-term anyway. So it would depend a lot on how much they like a Kuminga and a Moody, and again, some draft compensation. But you look at that roster, they're not like a blank cupboard there. They've got a lot of nice young pieces. Wiggins would fit in defensively. Kuminga, they would all fit in. It would be a nice reset from their perspective, but I'm biased, right? I'm looking at it from the Warriors lens. But those are three trades that I'll throw out. It's early, but it's certainly looking like the Warriors are going to have to make a move if they want to be contenders. Yeah, they can scrap into the play-in and be kind of what we were last year, right? But if they really want to go all in for these final few seasons of Steph, a move has to be made. So let me know in the comments who you'd like. I know, the Zach LaVine talk has been out there. I've watched him um not compete on the defensive end for almost 10 years now. So I'm just a little skeptical of that one, even though the offensive firepower speaks for itself. So I don't know about Levine, but again, let me know of some names you got. Maybe it's just something that's like a smaller move around the margins, but I don't know if what that does for us. But yeah, man, we got San Antonio and Wemby. When is it? Friday night, tomorrow, and they're on a 10-game losing streak. But they're going to look at us, this limping older Warriors team, as an opportunity to get off that streak. So yeah, man, the games are coming quick, and the hole is getting dug deeper and deeper. So even if they don't make a move, a sense of urgency and juice has to be shown, even though we're not even 20 games into this season. Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving and be safe out there. I'm out, y'all.